took place in Syria. The offensive of the regime forces against Idlib should be stopped, and we considered which steps can be taken in order to prevent the offensive of the Syrian regime. Within this framework, we also extended our condolences to the families and the beloved ones of our soldiers who have lost their lives. I also would like to thank the Prime Minister Boyko Borisov for the solidarity that he has shown. Distinguished guests, right now, 1.5 million people have left their houses from Idlib and came in front of our borders.
Близо 1,5 милиона души напуснаха домовете си в Идлиб и в момента са в близост до границата ни, чакат там.
In our talks, unfortunately, the majority of the European Union countries and their insensitivity have been mentioned. More than 4 million refugees have been hosted in Turkey in more than 9 years. Unfortunately, this situation of Turkey is not understood by the European Union countries and whole Europe.
Товара, който пое Турция в продължение на 9 години, тя пое товара на над 4 милиона бежанци.
Months ago, we have told that if the European Union is not going to support our burden in a just and fair manner, we said that we will have to open our borders. Within the framework of the consensus which have been come to terms between EU and Turkey, in 2016 we have announced our responsibilities, and so far we have fulfilled all of our responsibilities. Within this framework, the sharing, fair and just sharing of our responsibilities, unfortunately, have not been answered by the European Union. On the other hand, the European Union didn't fulfill its responsibilities arising out of 18th of March memorandum. European Union today is also implementing double standards. The European Union countries, and the majority of them, are still claiming that Turkey has done wrong with regards to the refugee influx, and it is a real double standard. Well, there is the fair and just sharing of responsibilities. Are we only supposed to shoulder that burden? More than $40 billion have already been spent. You have given us words. You have said that 6 billion euros will be delivered to Turkey within 1 year. You were going to give that 6 billion euros not to us, to our national treasury, but to the non-governmental organizations. Did they give 6 billion euro? No. We have been discussing with them, and they said that we will send 1 billion euros to you. But who you are deceiving? I have said to the Prime Minister, we don't want this money anymore. We have spent already 40 billion euros, and the Republic of Turkey can find this 1 billion euro, we can generate this 1 billion euro, and we can spend 1 billion euro more.
Ще работи и ще намери и тези средства.
Nobody has the right to play with the honor of the Republic of Turkey.
Се подиграва с достоинството на Турция.
The European Union is still implementing the double standards. As they are ignoring the national security of the Republic of Turkey, they are even keeping a blind eye to the deaths which are the result of the violation of the 1951 Geneva Convention and the European Convention on the Human Rights. The country which hosts the most refugees in the world, the Republic of Turkey, is still providing international protection to the ones who are demanding it. The refugees, asylum seekers, they are leaving their home countries and they have the right to choose whichever country that they are demanding to live. I'm not speaking about the local legislation, by the way. According to the international law, you cannot force those people to stay in one country. And those people, with their free will, have left our country. The countries like Greece should obey to their international responsibilities so that they should take into consideration the asylum seekers and their applications without showing any discrimination based on ethnicity or religion. Today, the soldiers of Greece have killed 2 refugees and one of them was seriously wounded. Charles Michel, the European Commission President, said that he will visit the border between Greece and Turkey. I believe he will witness the non-humanitarian approach against the refugees at the border. The Greek coast guards and their actions, I totally recommend the President of the European Commission to observe their attitudes against the refugees in the Aegean Sea. I also would like to state that Bulgaria is showing a sensitive approach within the leadership of Boyko Borisov with regards to that issue. In a framework of mutual respect, we have a perfect cooperation and solidarity in terms of the national security.
която се основава на взаимното уважение и разбирателство.
This cooperation and solidarity should be a role model for the all European Union countries. With the countries who have embraced this understanding and this consensus, we can solve this sensitive problem, which Turkey is a part of the European continent. With these ideas in mind, I would like to thank Mr. Boyko Borisov and his delegation. Once again, we would like to thank him for this important visit, which shows the solidarity with our country, and I would like to congratulate the National Day of the Bulgaria. And without further ado, I'd like to yield the floor to the Prime Minister.
Солидарност и още от днес искам да ги поздравя за утрешният национален празник на България.
Благодаря за поздравлението към българския народ. Това е изключително важно и благодаря.
Bulgaristan halkına yönelik ifade etmiş olduğunuz tebrik mesajlarınız için teşekkür ediyorum. Bu çok
I would like to thank you very much for your messages for the Bulgarian people. These are of great importance for us.
şahsım ve ekibim adına bir kez daha şehit olan
I once again would like to
yakınlarına taziyelerimi ifade etmek istedim.
convey my condolences to the families of the martyrs personally and on behalf of my team and delegation.
Липсващи за коронавируса облекла, които имаме в момента, но в последствие може да ни се окажат малко, а само Турция ги произвежда.
Koronavirüse karşı aldığımız önlemler çerçevesinde ihtiyaç duyduğumuz fakat şu anda
Within the framework of the precautions taken against coronavirus, we have certain needs in terms of materials that are insufficient, and I would like to thank you very much for calling our Minister of Health and offering help.
Е изключително голям, тъй като Турция, Китай и Индия ги произвеждат и с действията на президента, здравния министър, направихме връзка с българския здравен министър, вътрешния министър и техния вътрешен министър, за да може поетапно в следващите дни, щом станат и се освободят количества, да могат да си попълваме те, които харчиме в момента.
Ve Bulgaristan'daki kamuoyuna bilgi vermek adına dünya genelinde zor bulunan ihtiyaç
To
olan
inform
filtreli maskelerin
people in Bulgaria
bize temin edilmesi hususunda
we know that, and I would like to share that we have received filter masks, and I also would like to convey my special thanks for helping with the supply of these protective masks. These are of great importance for us in terms of health, and they are being produced in Turkey. And I would like to once again thank you for having talks with our Ministry of Health in this regard.
Perşembe günü Moskova'da gerçekleştireceğimiz ziyaret çerçevesinde bu ölümcül Suriye'deki
On Thursday, you will have a meeting in Moscow regarding the developments unfolding in Syria, and I wish that you will be able to find concrete solutions.
Can kaybı yanı sıra yüz binlerce göçmende mülteciler.
Other than loss of life, we know that hundreds of thousands of refugees are coming closer to our borders.
Ve şahsınız nezdinde Türkiye'nin Bulgaristan sınırına yönelik Avrupa ile imzalanan
Turkey, with your leadership, has signed agreements with the EU, and I would like to thank you very much for committing to the rules and conditions of the agreements signed. And I would like to make a call to the Bulgarian citizens that they should be at ease, that the commitments will be met. And during our meeting, we have once again confirmed our commitment to the agreement, both parties. So far, everything has been good, and we have put in a lot of efforts. In Sofia, We are in terms to have a much more comprehensive meeting. And of course, I believe that our counterparts, our interlocutors, are always reasonable. But then we received information about the refugees who were unfortunately killed. Some colleagues do not refrain from sharing their opinions on the social media. Mr. President here actually was prepared to visit Sofia on Friday. However, with my counterpart, Mitsotakis, he is not willing to sit around the same table, and that is why we have desisted from organizing such a trilateral meeting in Sofia. However, I am sure and I firmly believe that in the shortest period of time, the European Commission, the European Council, and all the relevant parties and colleagues will come in terms and take part in a joint meeting. And probably not everyone is able to see a big humanitarian crisis waiting at our doors. I'm not one of the coward ones. But I am sure only common sense, diplomacy, and peace can help us. And it is also important to protect the rights of the opposite party. Another important issue is to meet the criteria of the agreements signed. We have signed agreements for the resources to be allocated to Turkey. I am not able to understand why such amounts have not still been transferred. One of the main principles of the EU is to share burden and to have our fair share. And hopefully we will have a chance to organize a meeting in Sofia with the participation of all relevant parties. I would like to thank to Mr. President for having invited our invitation, but he should also understand me. Our destiny has put us in that geography. We are located in the same geography, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Greece. We will work hard. Good neighboring relations and good agreements are necessary. To protect all these women and children waiting at the borders, we will work hard. And those who are far from that region should consider if we have met our commitments or not. I have heard that there were certain threats, but it is quite late, and we have done half of our job. But our relations, I believe, set example for the others, and hopefully we will get concrete outcomes.
With regards to my dear friend Boyko Borisov, what I would like to say is that The refugees who are leaving our country,
aylardır konuştuğumuz
first and foremost,
hakça paylaşım konusundaki
should be
sürecin bir tezahürüdür.
the reflection of this process, which is a part of just and fair sharing of the responsibilities. If hundreds of people are pushing our front doors, there is a reason behind that. The European Union, unfortunately, didn't fulfill its responsibilities and didn't keep its words. The fact that the Greek soldiers have already killed 2 people and let seriously the wound of 1 person have negatively affected this process.
И тежкото раняване на един беженец от страна на гръцката полиция влоши още повече положението.
They are not respecting the international migration laws.
Международния закон за беженците.
They say that Turkey hosted all of those refugees for the last 9 years.
Турция така или иначе от 9 години насам гледа тези беженци, храни ги и всички техни нужди посреща.
I believe they say that Turkey can host those refugees for another 19 years.
Отговорността за тях за още 19 години.
Well, I'm sorry to say that there is not anymore such a process. Turkey cannot host the refugees anymore. Thank you so much.
Аз вярвам в добросъседството и съм оптимист, че ще намерим решение в следващите дни, седмици. Не може, все пак сме мъдри хора, трябва да намерим решение.
Ben her şeyden önce iyi komşuluk ilişkilerine güveniyorum ve inanıyorum ki önümüzdeki
First of all, I fully trust in our good neighboring relations, and I believe in the forthcoming weeks, days, months, we will come up with solutions. At the end of the day, we are all wise people.
You're watching Boyko Borisov, who has been the guest of Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan.